My name is Luke. I am the owner of the Corner Record Shop in Grandville, Michigan. I'd say all the record stores that are still selling vinyl are pretty important to, without record stores, you can buy them online, but part of the thrill is, going into a store and digging through the racks, seeing what there is. For a lot of people, that's the fun part. You can go on any online retailer and just click a button and get what you want, but I don't know. I don't think that's as fun.
I started buying records at Goodwill when I was in my late teens. Never lived in a home that didn't have a working turntable in it, so I grew up with them in my house. My folks had records, but my first two records, I remember them being Prince, Purple Rain, Huey Lewis Sports. I found them at a Goodwill, $1 a piece. Didn't even have a turntable yet for myself, and thought, oh, these are neat. I'll buy these, and it's been no looking back ever since. So.
I'm not a musician.
I've never really been a musician.
The only thing I know how to play is a record player, so I can't speak to what goes into making the music.
Like everybody, I owned guitars when I was in high school and played a little bit and had dreams of being in a band. But no, I grew up in a household where my mom always had music on. Whether it was the music I wanted to listen to or not, there was just always music in the house, and it just became something that I think to me was what a part of the background of life is, I guess.
Well, I've been a musician all my life. Always had a little interest in audio. And then I married an audio head.
Hear the tapping? So there's something wrong with that speaker.
Richie's been in audio for
All my life?
all his life. So we decided to open a storefront, and we came up here and opened Dekkm. Having a studio, we have Studio 4 Dekkm Productions. I've drawn in a lot of musicians to come help with projects. So people bring their old stuff in, they want it fixed, they like the way it sounds, it's warmer, it's richer. They want to keep it going as long as they can.
This is a format that for a lot of years as a record collector, I ignored. I loved LPs. I loved full-length records. I loved that as an artist, there was a longer work involved, that there was an investment by the artist in creating a full-length. But over the last few years, I've really started to come back to the 45. There's a lot of fun in this format. To grab a pile of 45s, set them up, whether it's next to your whether it's in your jukebox, whether it's next to the old RCA changers, which is where the large hole in the center actually came from, because RCA was trying to corner the market by creating players that had a large center that would drop it on. Didn't work out so well for RCA, but it turned out to be a great format for the world. It's just a lot of fun. Artists were able to come in, create one song that they really loved, get it out there, sometimes in the matter of weeks. It just created a really fun way to listen to music, fun way to create music from everything I understand. Something really neat about digging through these bins and finding, that one great song by the person that might have only made one great song. So I bet if you randomly reach into the R bin, you're going to find somebody that, Bill Ramsey. I don't know Bill Ramsey, and I've worked in music stores for 20 plus years, but Ramsey made a record and somebody out there loves that song. I guarantee it,
It's gone from records to reel tapes, and that was a little bit more convenient because you could press play and it'd go a lot longer than a record. And after that there was cassette tapes, which you could put in, you'd play the whole thing, flip it over, do the other side. And then CDs were even more convenient yet. You plop it in, press play, it plays the whole album. You don't have to flip it over. It's great. But all of these convenient formats, they seem to come and go, whereas records are always been around and probably always will be. Depending on the week, it's about 50-50 reissues and newer artists releasing their new album or what have you. I mean, every week there's hundreds of titles, lists that we have to go through. I mean, there's certainly a convenience factor to some of the newer formats. I feel like that's kind of the way it's gone throughout the history. It's, I stream on my phone in my car. I have, a Bluetooth speaker in my kitchen for when I'm doing the dishes, but at the end of the day, when I'm sitting down in my living room and I want to throw on a record because I really like the ritual of it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it sounds great. Something about the analog sound that you don't get with the digital.
So digital is like this, analog is like this. Analog actually mixes, but digital adds. Digital is ones and zeros.
Digital has a way too. People get carried away because it does so many wonderful things. Oh, let's add this. Oh, let's add that.
Analog is less efficient, but sounds better. Sounds smoother.
Which gives it that warmth that people like to hear.
Digital, you're jumping gaps. You essentially to create a file that will work digitally.
Us older folks, we hear that difference, so we like that.
I think digital will continue to become more and more a primary way that we take in media, but I think there's always going to be something that draws people back to a connectedness. And I think records do that. I think physical paper books do that. They connect us to something of where we came from. They connect us to the earth a little more, and I think having everything in a digital ether can create something of an existential crisis in us of if everything that matters to us is just in a void, a digital void, what connects us to who we are and where we're from, I guess. So, I remember what it was like. I was into a lot of indie bands when I was in high school, and there really wasn't a source to hear samples of a band. So essentially you were reading an article about what this band sounded like. You were taking a real risk by taking your money and pre-ordering something that you'd never heard of. I think we, as people, we want that risk. We want that we want that investment in something.